questions.
Yeah, proud of our effort and our intent tonight. We challenged our guys to be consistent defensively for 40 minutes. I didn't care what happened offensively. We hadn't been playing great offensively, but we'd have some lapses defensively the last 3-4 games. So we really challenged our guys to win the wars. There's 5 4-minute wars each half. There's 10 for a game, and we really challenged them to win all 10 of them. And I said we can't do that if we're not consistent defensively. And we won 9 of them. The only one we didn't win was the second half from the 8-minute mark to the 4-minute mark when the Gorosito kid got hot and we had some bad turnovers there, and they won that segment. But, proud of our guys, for their intent tonight, playing the right way. I thought Zoom played a great floor game today. Not only, being aggressive with his shot, but I thought he had some great passes, especially out of that second half and some of the ball screen stuff. Hannes, did what Hannes does. He was aggressive tonight, which he has to be that every night. He can't be floating out there. And there was a couple possessions out there. I think he needs to even be more aggressive than he was. But obviously 21 and 14. And, the other guys, I thought JJ gave us great minutes. I thought JJ and Jasir. I thought Jasir's making strides. He's filling that role that is needed. He's playing great defense. He's chasing after rebounds. He's cutting. He's playing really well off some of our other guys, and his minutes will continue to improve if he keeps doing those things. And so, but proud of the overall effort and the intent that we had tonight.
When you don't have Wes and you don't have Lathan, how does that change you guys?
Yeah, especially obviously Wesley's just such a dynamic scorer. And I think, was he our leading scorer? Second leading scorer. And he's one of our outside threats. And so, that hurts. And then obviously just Lathan, just depth inside, And, Lathan hasn't played as well as he's capable of playing. We just got to get him out of that funk because he's a much better player than he's been showing. But obviously, with those two, I have no idea how long either of them are going to be out. We're still waiting on the test results. And so, praying for both of them and knock on wood, hopefully we can get them back, sometime in the near future.
What's the deal with Lathan?
Yeah, he hurt his knee. So we're just waiting on some MRI and some x-rays on that on Saturday in practice.
Are you starting to feel maybe a little bit like, gosh darn it, what's going on with all of the injuries this year?
Yeah, it's crazy, but like I say all the time, like nobody cares. They just don't. Like people are actually hoping like that they don't have to play against Wesley or Lathan or Hannes. Like that's how people are, and we have plenty of guys that we recruited, and I believe in all of them. And now it's time for other guys to step up, until they come back, and hopefully they do, get back. But until then, it's more minutes for Jasir. It's more minutes for Nicola. It's more, Bryson. Like now those guys that have been wanting to play more minutes, now it's time to, it's about the action now. It's not just saying I want to play more. Now you got to go put it on the floor and produce. And I've wholeheartamely believe in every single one of those guys. Bryson, I know he's going to break out. Kamari is going to break out. Kamari's had a little stretch here where he's kind of in a little funk shooting. They all look good, and a couple of them are just in and out. But once he kind of gets one of those to fall, it's going to be 5 or 6, and the same thing with Bryson.
That 7-minute stretch in the first half when you guys held them scoreless, you scored 20. What can you guys take from that stretch to become the defensive team that you would like?
Yeah, well, we were taking care of the ball, and defense leads to offense. If we can get the ball off the rim and not take it out of the net, like the analytics show, we show it on film, like when we take care of the ball and get a shot on the rim, we're pretty good offensively, because we have lots of weapons that we can go to. And that's why our focus has to be, and our intent has to be defensively. Like we have to be able to keep guys in front. We have to rebound. Our guards got to continue to do a better job, defensive rebounding, so we can push it and play faster. But it all started on the defensive end, that 20-0 run.
You mentioned some of those turnovers, and I know you talk a lot about you don't mind turnovers as long as they're aggressive.
I mind the ones tonight because they were just bad plays. When you're just running and jumping up in the air, that's kindergarten stuff. You can't do it, and it's going to bite us in the ass again. Like the 4 of our losses, we've lost because of bad plays, bad turnovers that it's unacceptable to do at this level.
How'd you like Nicola's play? You gave him 20 minutes tonight.
Yeah, I thought he was great, and he like you can tell he can really shoot the basketball. He had some great looks. Like there's going to be a night where he makes 5 or 6 too, but he gives us a different versatility. Like we need another floor spacer, and it's different when you have a big that can really space the floor. It changes the way people have to guard. Like there's some teams in our league, or even like some of the teams that we've played, when they go 5 guards or play 5 guys that can shoot it. It's hard to play sometimes your centers. Because you have to switch and guard different ways. And I think Nicola's going to be able to give us that versatility with his ability to stretch the floor and rebound a basketball. You did a great job tonight rebounding and chesting up.
Considering he's never been to the U.S. before, have you had to keep a close eye on him to make sure that he's okay?
Just make sure he gets to practice?
Yeah.
No, he's such a good kid. He's super smart. Like I said, we still have to draw up plays. I'm yelling plays to him. He doesn't know. And it's not his fault. Like, I'm yelling, and I'm like, hey, my bad, just keep it basic, run this, But he's going to continue to pick up stuff, and that's why we have to, get some two-a-days in, starting on the 26th and really get him up to speed.
Before the game, if I would have told you that Nicola would play 20 minutes, was that kind of the plan, or is that out of necessity?
Out of necessity right now, obviously with Latham being out, and just moving down the line, like we have to get him minutes. We only got 3 bigs right now. Him, Frank, and Hannes. And guys, Zoom or Dez or Bryson, they fill some minutes when we go small ball at the 4. But he's going to have to continue to, we're going to have to ramp up his minutes and his activity and really just stay in the gym and make sure he keeps learning a little bit more and more each day, offensively and defensively.
When we see what Nicola's doing on the offensive end, is that pretty much what you envisioned Jacob being able to do for your offense?
Yeah. He, they're a little different. Like Jacob's just played 4 years at this level and he's seasoned. Like he can really dribble, operate on the perimeter and screen and pick and pop. And Jacob's a load even down on the block. He can really score the basketball. He's got a great feel. They both have a really good feel, offensively. Jacob's a little more rugged and probably a little stronger now because he's 4 years older. But probably similar in a way that they can both, really stretch the floor and kind of be that big that can pull guys away from the basket.
5 for 21 from 3. What needs
Not
to
good
happen?
enough.
What needs to happen for that to improve?
You just got to make shots. You're getting wide open shots. We got to knock them down. We got to stay in the gym. And that way we're confident. I love the looks we're getting. I love the looks we got the other night. Big boy basketball. You got to knock down shots, and you got to stay in the gym and, like I said, build that confidence. I never tell a guy to not shoot or anything like that. They know the work that they put in, and they know what's a good shot for them. And like I said, it's only a matter of time because I love the shots Kamari got, Nicola, even JJ Zoom, all those guys, and it's a matter of time before we make 12 or 13 in a game.
You guys held San Diego to 16 points tonight in the paint. Much better, much more physical. Is that a mentality or is that just style of play? A
little bit of both, little style of play. They're they ISO a lot and they do shoot a lot of threes. And you can see number 4 and number 1 can really get it going. They had made 47 out of their 100 threes, made threes this year, and that's kind of their how they play, and that's why they're dangerous. And that's why they beat UC San Diego, who was a tournament team last year, and they were 10-1 before San Diego beat them the other night. On the road. So that was a heck of a win, and and that's why it was important for us to come out and establish a defensive presence tonight.
Hannes picks up another double-double. What can you say about his consistency throughout the year?
Yeah, he's the way he play. He has a motor. He gets double-doubles because he goes and rebounds. He doesn't wait for the rebound. He goes every time. Makes the effort. Where some guys don't have the motor to go every time. He does. And he just has a knack to kind of know where the ball's going and really use his body, his leverage, and and he's got great hands. Like I said, from the offensive stand, I'm proud of the 21, but he's got to get 28, 29. He has to continue to be aggressive.
You mentioned a little bit earlier that you saw Jasir making strides. Where have you seen the biggest improvement in this game?
Defensively, I told the team in the locker room, I was proud of him. He's gotten lost in the details of winning. he's not thinking about scoring. He's not hunting his shot. Everybody else, when you're kind of going through a funk, they think the way to get out of a funk is to shoot and get shots up. He's not doing that, and that's why he's playing really well. All he's focused on is guarding, working on his closeouts, which we've been doing a lot of. You know, he's like Hannes. He chases rebounds. Like, he goes and rebounds out of his area, which is uncommon for a freshman, and we got 2 of them doing it. Now we got to get the whole team doing it. But that's where he's made the biggest strides, and that's why, I mean, he had a great cut for a layup today. You know, he goes 4 of 4 from the free throw line. You know, he took care of the basketball. He's fitting that role around Zoom, around Desmond, around Hannes that you need. You know, he's that big wing that he can guard 1 through 4, even 5s at a time. You know, and he's capable of making some threes now too. Like, it's a matter of time before he really breaks out and we really get the ball moving and it finds him, because he's going to be a terrific player. But I'm just really proud of how he's bought into his role, and it's going to help us, and he's going to get a lot more minutes because of it.
I don't know if we'll see you before next week. What's the early scouting report on Utah?
Yeah, I haven't watched them too much. I know they have a couple really good guards that can really score the basketball. One of them's, I think, one of the leading scorers in the country. I mean, like a couple of the box scores I've looked at, a couple times he's had like 35, 36. But they're starting to play better and better. You know, they had a brand new team, a new coach. You know, November's always ugly for everybody nowadays. Everybody's got a new team, but you know, I've noticed, like, even watching their scores, you know, like, they're starting to play, you know, some good basketball. And so I know they'll be ready. And we gotta build on tonight's defensive effort and keep improving there.
Any plan for the Christmas Day or the holidays? And what do you do with the like with guys like Nicola and like Hannes?
Yeah, their families are here, so they're actually going to stay here. Now, there's not enough time. Obviously, everybody has to be back as late as possible on Christmas night. I'm gonna go back and visit my parents, who I haven't seen for a while. So go see them for about 36 hours and come back Christmas night.
Anything else for Coach?
You bet. Well, Merry Christmas to you.